Alright, so we have a vintage MRE to review today. This one is menu number 2, corned beef hash. So as far as dating this, it is in the brown bag, which means it's from 1981 through 1995. Of course, obviously this is the days before they put date codes on the bags, so there's nothing on the bag to indicate anything else. So let's go ahead and open this up and see if we can date it and see what's in here. I'll check for any kind of interesting smells coming off of here. It just smells like plastic, and actually it smells like fresh plastic, which is a good sign for how this was stored. Alright, so here comes the moment of truth. Here we have the corned beef hash. You can see here it's a pretty simple list of ingredients, but here's the ingredients if you want to check those out. And here's the date code 2058. So this was packaged on the 58th day of 1992. So we're looking at a 26-year-old MRE here. I also have accessory packet B, brown MRE spoon. Here we have a beverage-based powder, and on the back we have that it's cherry. And we have our standard MRE crackers. And for the crackers we have grape jelly. And we also have cocoa beverage powder, a freeze-dried fruit mix. And then the last thing we have is an oatmeal cookie bar. And our little Tabasco sauce. So then the last thing we have is the accessory pack. It smells like something. It smells like a store. It smells like you're in a Walmart. It's kind of a pleasant smell, possibly coming from the gum. So for the coffee we have Taster's Choice and Carnation Coffee Mate non-dairy creamer, and of course we have to have some sugar for that. We also have salt, and we have the gum. We have the old school toilet paper, red tip matches, moist towelette, a wet nap, and then the candy is a couple of Tootsie Rolls. So it'll be interesting to see how these hold up after 26 years. Alright, and here is what we're getting in this menu number 2 corned beef hash MRE from 1992. And of course, as I said, this is about a year before they added the flameless ration heater. So we're going to take the corned beef hash and we're just going to heat it up in some hot water. And back in those days, you would either eat this cold, which obviously you can do, but you had a few options if you wanted to heat it up. But the most convenient one, of course, is just throwing it in some hot water. So that's what we're going to do. And we'll check out the rest of the components while that's heating up. So here we have the crackers. And let's see if we can get a hiss out of this. I don't know if you could hear that. It's a pretty good little hiss and some release of the pouch. These are in good shape. They smell perfect. And the grape jelly. It just looks like grape jelly. It's not runny or anything. This is it's definitely a good sign here. That looks really good. Hopefully it tastes as good as it looks. There aren't really a lot of things to eat in here. We have our Tootsie Rolls and we have our oatmeal cookie bar. It smells just fine. 26-year-old oatmeal cookie bar. Definitely smells like oatmeal. It has a slight hint of maybe a little bit of coconut. Just a little bit there. Alright, and the last food item we have is the fruit mix. And with these you can either eat these dry or you can reconstitute them in water. And there's another vacuum seal package, a little bit of his there. Since it is a review, what we'll do is we'll definitely try some of it dry, and we'll reconstitute some of it just for the sake of seeing how that turns out. And you can see it looks like we get some pears and peaches in there. A little bit of red indicating the cherries, and once it's reconstituted there of course would be some juice too. And then we have our beverages, of which we have 3. We have the coffee, cocoa beverage powder, and the cherry beverage-based powder. So the beverage-based powder, which I'm hoping is going to be good, it feels like it's powder in here. This is going to go into 12 ounces of water. Let's see what we got here. There's this nice artificial cherry color, and it's a little bit a little granular in there. It smells kind of like a urinal cake. But let's see how this mixes up. And we have our coffee and our cocoa. Let's see how this Taster's Choice held up. Let's see. Yeah, and it looks just fine. I don't see any mold in there or anything. Definitely, obviously, a good sign. And I'll put in the creamer and the sugar. Since we have them. In the cocoa beverage, it says, for hot cocoa, add contents to hot water and stir until dissolved. For a cold cocoa, mix contents with about 1 fluid ounce of water to make a smooth paste, and then add remainder of cold water and stir until blended. So we'll go ahead and use that method. Start off with a little bit of water. And we'll add the cocoa beverage powder, and that looks absolutely fine. And just stir that up. I probably could have gone a little bit less water. Alright, that seems to be a pretty good method, so you end up with less clumps. But we'll go ahead and add some more water. And we have our pretty nicely mixed cocoa beverage. And that just leaves us with the star of our show, the 1992 corned beef hash. This is very, very hot. Obviously, as I said, it doesn't have to be heated. It could be cold. See, they put the tear notches. They have 2 sets of tear notches, and they put them going the up and down way. So this isn't really designed for eating out of the pouch. But we're doing a review, so we're going to go ahead and check this out on the tray. Oh, I can smell it. This is wow, that smells really good. I can't believe everything in this seems to be perfect. And I'm hoping that the visual and the smell test are going to be the same in the taste test, because I would like to be able to eat this whole thing. It smells, it definitely smells like a canned hash, a canned meat kind of product, and it's a little bit of a, well, it's corned beef, obviously, so it kind of smells a little bit like pastrami. More appropriate to just say it smells like corned beef, which is what it should smell like. And there we have our 26-year-old corned beef hash steaming away on the plate. So the ingredients include corned beef, water, potatoes, salt, modified food starch, dehydrated onion, sugar, flavoring, dehydrated diced sweet green peppers, and spices. What else can I say about this? Let's try it out. Alright, let's see, it's the corned beef and the diced potatoes. That's what you're mostly seeing. I don't know if you can see the steam coming off of that, but it is. Tastes just fine. I was going to take a little sample. You do have to be careful with this stuff, there's no doubt. This is more than a quarter of a century old. But it must have been stored great. It seems to be perfect. Wow. It tastes like corned beef hash. I mean, what else should I have to say about it? If you like corned beef hash, you know what it tastes like. And that's what it tastes like. I'm trying to think if there's any aftertaste or any kind of a sort of a metallic kind of thing coming off of it from the packaging. There really doesn't seem to be. This is just very good. Let's take one last close-up look at this stuff. This really is pretty amazing. But I guess we do have to try some of the other stuff out too. Let's wash that down a little bit of the coffee, see if that's as good as it smelled. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's I mean, I do have the cream and the sugar in there, so I can't totally judge the coffee itself, but considering how old it is, it tastes really good. Try out the cracker. Try the cracker first, just to make sure it's as good as it smells. Everything in here seems to have been just perfectly preserved. Yep. It's got that boring cracker smell, not really a saltine. I mean, there's obviously going to be some salt in the cracker meal, I'm sure, but nothing exciting, but when you're dealing with something this old, it's very exciting to taste a boring cracker that just tastes like a cracker. Actually, let's try a little bit of the jelly. That seems to be in great shape. It's nice and firm. It's not all runny or anything like that. And it just tastes like grape jelly. And you put that on cracker. That's a classic MRE taste. Taste of cracker and grape jelly. This is like a kid snack. It kind of brings you back to being a kid, and also kind of reminds you of being in the service if you were in the service. It's a nice little snack there. And we'll go with the oatmeal cookie bar. Always a pleasant thing. You know, the cornflake bars and the oatmeal cookie bars, pretty similar. That's really good too. A lot of simple stuff in here, but just the fact that it's so good and so well preserved. Kind of similar to oatmeal cookie. The oatmeal flavor's coming through. A little bit of sweetness, just like an MRE oatmeal cookie. It's got some sweetness, a little bit of crunch, but not too much of either. That was really good. Try some of the cocoa beverage. That tastes like it was just packaged yesterday. And I'm going to do a little bit of dipping. Make the oatmeal bar chocolatey. Yeah, that's even better. I'm going to try some of this mixed fruit. Like I said, I think there's going to be peaches, pears, and some cherries in there. And it's in a juice, a water-based syrup. Very sweet. Kind of makes up for the lack of sweetness in the oatmeal cookie bar. This is very sweet. And it tastes just like if you had one of those little kids' cups of fruit salad, fruit mix. It tastes just like that, except that it's crunchy. Kind of a neat experience. And you can also, you don't necessarily have to put this in water reconstitute. You can put this in your mouth, let it sit there a few seconds, and it kind of reconstitutes itself. It just kind of melts away. But I did say I was going to reconstitute some of it, so let's go ahead and do that. And we'll just take a piece of the fruit here and drop this into the water. Wow, that was interesting. Did you hear that? Yeah, I probably should do on even less water than that. But so that's like instant. It just kind of, I better put a little bit more in there. It's kind of like a sizzling sound to it. So that's reconstituting nicely. Keep a little bit there for. And while that finishes reconstituting, I'm going to enjoy a little bit more of this corned beef hash. But we're going to check out the Tabasco sauce and see how well that held up. And judging how everything else has been, I'm expecting good things from that. Let's see, this should have a date code on it too. Yep, 2038. And look at that. I don't know if you can see that, but the neck is clear. That smells like Tabasco sauce. So I'm going to add a little bit here. I just want to give the Tabasco a little try. Yep, that does what it does. In these old days, a lot of the rations weren't, I'm going to say very palatable, but they weren't great. Some of them were kind of bland. And it was great that they introduced these little bottles into the rations. A lot of guys would carry their own Tabasco bottles when they went out into the field. But once you start putting in MREs, you could just use the stuff that they give you. But this corned beef hash is just really good on its own. It really doesn't need the hot sauce. I'll try the cherry beverage base. And that's good. It's tough. You get that idea of the urinal cake in your head, and it's kind of hard to shake that. But it is a nice sweet, artificial cherry kind of a taste to it. It's really not bad at all. Especially because cherry's not that common of a beverage to find in. So I always enjoy it when you have something that's a little bit different. I guess the last thing to try is the reconstituted fruit. I told you what it tasted like dry. And here it is after reconstituting for a couple minutes. You can see these white things appear to be pears, and the more yellow stuff, I guess, would be the peaches. Yeah, that's good. The pears are still a little bit chewy. For some reason, they seem to be taking the longest. And I think we've tried everything. I did want to give the gum a shot, see how that held up, see if it breaks my teeth. No, it's a little bit on the hard side, but not bad at all. And I did want to try the moist towelette. It actually got some grape jelly on it, so also I'm all sticky and I actually need this. But I wanted to see if this has that lemon smell to it. Yeah, it doesn't. It just kind of it smells like alcohol, which is fine. But it works just fine. Makes it a little bit less sticky. And so that was a look at some corned beef hash and the rest of the components in a menu number 2 corned beef hash from 1992. Okay, and I did forget something. Sorry about that. I'm sure as I was looking at the tray saying, looks like we've tried everything and getting ready to sign off, I'm sure a lot of people were screaming at the screen saying, hey, wait a minute, forget about the Tootsie Rolls. And these were supposed to be an indication of the storage, but I think judging from every single component here, I would say that this was stored about as good as you could store it. But we'll go ahead and try the Tootsie Roll, see if this is a tooth breaker. The one I had from 1995 that had been frozen, it was still very soft and malleable. It's a little bit harder, but it certainly seems like it's fine. I mean, Tootsie Rolls can be like that anyway. Well, let's go ahead and give this a try. Yep, that's fine. At this point, I'm not too surprised. I suppose if you warm this up, it'll be a little bit softer, but it's definitely not rock hard. I mean, you can squeeze it, you can twist it and turn it. So this is fine too. The last little component. One of the best vintage rations I've ever had in my life.